30A, June 12, 1944. On a captured airfield somewhere in occupied Germany, Oberleutnant Walter Wolfrum, a Knight's Cross recipient, stood on a rain-damp tarmac, staring at an American aircraft painted with German markings. The aircraft was the North American P-51 Mustang. In the past 6 months, this single aircraft type had turned the mathematics of the air war against the Reich. German aces with 100, 150, and even 200 victories were dying in encounters they should have controlled. Luftwaffe High Command had one question: what makes it so deadly? Wolfrum was the man they trusted to find out. What he reported back would not comfort them. Walter Wolfrum was born in May 1923 in the small Bavarian town of Schmelz. Walter was slight in build, and nothing about him suggested the man who would claim 137 aerial victories across the most brutal air campaign in history. He joined the Luftwaffe in February 1943 and was assigned to Jagdgeschwader 52, which was the most lethal fighter wing ever assembled. Erich Hartmann flew here and finished the war with 352 kills, Gerhard Barkhorn with 301, Nether Rahl with 275. Wolfrum belonged among them, and the records of post-war analysis of Soviet loss documentation confirmed that his claims matched verified enemy losses with almost perfect precision. By the time he walked onto that tarmac, Wolfrum understood aerial combat at a level most men never reach and never survive long enough to describe. For 2 years, the Luftwaffe had a simple answer to American strategic bombing, and that was to position fighters beyond the range of Allied escorts and wait. The P-47 Thunderbolts and P-38 Lightnings protecting the bombers could only reach the German border before Fiel forced them to turn back. Beyond that line, German pilots tore into unescorted formations without consequence. On August 17, 1943, a raid on the Schweinfurt ball-bearing factories cost the Americans 60 bombers. On October 14th, another Schweinfurt raid lost 60 more. The Americans called it Black Thursday. This meant their strategy was working. Then came the Mustang. On March 4, 1944, P-51Bs of the 4th Fighter Group escorted heavy bombers all the way to Berlin, a round trip of about 1,100 miles, and arrived over the German capital with fuel remaining. Reichsmarshal Hermann Göring reportedly said that when he saw Mustangs over Berlin, he knew the jig was up. The defensive logic that had held for 2 years collapsed in a single mission. High Command knew the numbers were changing, but they didn't know why. Wolfrum was sent to find the flaw, and in the process, he found something far worse. The aircraft Wolfrum was handed had been recovered through a low-key Luftwaffe intelligence operation running since 1943. Crashed and force-landed Allied aircraft were collected from German-controlled territory, rebuilt using salvaged parts, repainted with German markings, and assigned Sturmkennzeichen codes beginning with T9. Bright yellow undersides prevented German flak crews from firing on them. The unit operating them was informally called the Circus Rosarius. This unit was officially the 2nd Squadron of the experimental unit of the Luftwaffe High Command, and they toured frontline airfields demonstrating captured aircraft to German pilots and teaching countermeasures. The P-51B, coded T9 plus HK, had been restored to full flying condition, and so Wolfrum climbed in. The first thing that hit him was the cockpit. Wolfrum had spent thousands of hours in the Bf-109G. He knew that cockpit the way a man knows a room he has lived in for years. The 109 fit its pilot like a glove, whereas the Mustang was a different case entirely. The cockpit was huge and everything sat further back. Then he pushed the throttle forward. The Packard-built Rolls-Royce Merlin V1650 produced 1,590 horsepower at combat ratings. Its 2-stage supercharger engaged automatically and held full power at the altitudes where escort fighters operated, typically 25 to 30,000 feet, where the Bf-109's Daimler-Benz DB605 was already losing its edge. The P-51D reached 437 inf and its service ceiling approached 42,000 feet. But before any of the performance numbers registered, Wolfram noticed something else entirely. There were no oil leaks. For a man who had fought through Russian winters, 40 below zero, mechanics hand cranking inertia starters in the frozen dark, and oil leaks that turned a forced landing into a death sentence, this was not trivial. At altitude, the Mustang's laminar flowing confirmed what the engine had already suggested. The NACA 45-100 airfoil, developed with the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, maintained smooth airflow over a far greater portion of the wing surface before turbulence set in, cutting drag in ways that made the aircraft feel noticeably slippery above 320 mph. And by a fortunate accident of geometry, that same wing shape pushed the P-51's critical Mach number to 0.78, which was against 0.75 for both the BF-109 and the FW-190. In a high-speed dive, when both pilots were pushing toward compressibility and the controls started going heavy, the Mustang's pilot had a margin his opponent did not. At low speed, the BF-109's automatic leading edge slats allowed tighter turns near stall. German cannon outweighed the Mustang's 6.50 caliber machine guns. American pilots had been trained to fight on their own terms, keep speed up, dive and zoom, stay above 25,000 feet. And they had 7 hours of fuel to do it. The BF-109 had 1 hour and 20 minutes. Wolfram's report carried no exploitable weakness. High Command received tactical recommendations to avoid prolonged engagements, disengage quickly, and use the 109's climb rate to escape vertically. But these were tactical answers to a strategic problem. By early 1944, Major General James Doolittle had released P-51 pilots from close escort duty entirely, ordering them to hunt the Luftwaffe wherever it could be found, ahead of bomber formations over airfields on the ground. During Big Week in February 1944, Mustang pilots eliminated 17% of the Luftwaffe's experienced fighter pilots in air-to-air combat in a single week. Those men could not be replaced. By mid-1944, the average German pilot entering combat had roughly 100 hours of flight time. His American counterpart had 400 or more. North American aviation was producing over 100 Mustangs per week. The Reich had no answer to that arithmetic. Wolfram barely survived the war. On July 16, 1944, the same day he claimed 10 victories near Kamyanka and became a double ace in a day for the second time, he was severely wounded. He spent months recovering, and when he returned in February 1945 to command the first Staffel of JG-52, the Luftwaffe he rejoined was a shadow of what it had been. His unit surrendered to the Americans at Deutschbrod Airfield in Czechoslovakia on May 8, 1945. 3 weeks later, they were handed to the Soviets. Wolfram was released early due to his injuries. Many of his comrades did not return from Soviet captivity for 10 years. After the war, he became a competitive aerobatics pilot. He won the German National Aerobatics Championship in 1962 and placed second 4 other times. He died on August 26, 2010, in Schwabach, Germany.